11 starts right now. Thanks for being here. I'm Leslie Foster.
And I'm Lorenzo Hall. So polls closed in Maryland about 3 hours ago, and we already have results to share with you in a few key races.
Our reporters are spread out across the state to bring you the coverage you've come to expect from this team. We have Larry Miller, Simone D'Alba, and Scott Broom on the closely watched U.S. Senate race. And Alexis Wainwright is covering the congressional race in District 3.
Yeah, that's right. Let's start with that race to replace the retiring Senator Ben Cardin, though. This Democratic primary really came down to the wire. But tonight we can tell you the Associated Press is projecting that Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks has secured the nomination. She beat out Congressman David Trone, who poured $60 million of his own money into that race.
Our Larry Miller is live tonight at the watch party for Alsobrooks in Greenbelt, where they have been partying for some time now, Larry.
Yeah, guys, it has been a party in here since those election results began coming in shortly after 8 o'clock this evening. And then once the Associated Press made its projection, it became electric in here. There are a number of elected leaders that are also in here supporting a candidate whom they say is the best one to take on Larry Hogan in the general election. Alsobrooks outspent almost 7 times by her Democratic challenger, David Trone. And when I asked her specifically about the sort of financial differential between her campaign and that of David Trone's, she said that the voters will decide, and that the voters are smart enough to pick the candidate that she believed would be the best one to take on Larry Hogan in the general election. And that is the focus right now. A number of elected leaders have begun to take the stage to prepare for not only Alsobrooks, but we will hear from Governor Wes Moore as well as Senator Chris Van Hollen as well. And it looks like Governor Wes Moore is getting ready to take the stage. He has been an early supporter of Angela Alsobrooks, and I think it's important to point out as well that it was during his gubernatorial run where Angela Alsobrooks came to his support as well, helping him secure Prince George's County, and then ultimately the nomination, and then going on to the governor's mansion in Annapolis. So we will bring you more from the festivities here, but again, now the focus turning to the general election in November, and we'll be sure to stay on top of that for you. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
And it's going to be a long road to November. We already saw text messages and social media posts from her campaign already asking for money. So,
Yep.
All right, Larry, thank you.
All right. Meantime, Simone D'Alba is in Baltimore at a watch party for Alsobrooks challenger, Congressman David Trone. Simone, a very different environment there.
Yeah, guys, as you can hear, it's still a party here. We just heard David Trone speak. He took the stage a moment ago in front of all of his supporters. And he was speaking not only to supporters here, but to all of those people who have voted for him across Maryland. He was optimistic. He expressed a lot of gratitude. And he really rallied support behind Alsobrooks. So let's go ahead and see if we can get you some of that sound, because that was one of the most poignant moments of him speaking tonight, was him saying, hey, I'm conceding, and now we need to put our support behind Alsobrooks. So go ahead and let's see if we can hear part of his speech tonight.
We got to stand together. We got to all pull together. We can make a difference. We can't let them take our country. And I just want to say thank you to everybody in this audience. You folks really worked your tails off. I want to thank my family, my wife, my kids. Thank you, guys.
Of course, while Trone had this enormous financial advantage, again, outspending Angela Alsobrooks significantly and in every sense of that word, in the end, she had the endorsements. The endorsement, again, of Governor Wes Moore, some of the congressional delegation, and that really kind of lofted her forward in this primary. In terms of policy differences between the two, there just weren't many, aside from abortion, which Angela Alsobrooks really was a cornerstone of her campaign. Of course, meanwhile, Larry Hogan, as we've touched on, Maryland's former 2-term governor, has won the Republican primary. So Alsobrooks will be facing off against Hogan this fall in a race that really has the potential to shift the power of the U.S. Senate. So, of course, something that we'll have all eyes on across the nation. But here at David Trone's watch party in Baltimore, again, an optimistic tone tonight. Just a lot of gratitude, and you really heard Trone saying, hey, now we need to send it back behind the Democratic Party. We need to rally behind them as we look forward to this fall. So we'll send it back to you guys. Live in Baltimore tonight, Simone D'Alba, WUSA 9.
Trone conceding, throwing his support behind Angela Alsobrooks, and now, as they say, the real work begins. All right. Thank you, Simone.
Yeah, and tonight Simone touched on this. We can also tell you that Alsobrooks will be facing, on the Republican side in the Senate race, who she'll be facing? Former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan. He easily won today's GOP primary. Our Scott Broom is live outside of Hogan's watch party in Annapolis. And Scott, we know the former governor gave his supporters a promise in his remarks. What is he saying?
Well, he's talking about running it right down the center, but let me talk about the money briefly, because earlier, after congratulating both of the Democratic candidates, Hogan earlier had quipped to some political reporters that he was looking forward to matching up against a crippled Democratic candidate, financially crippled because of so much money that was spent on that side. Hogan tonight, two-term popular Republican governor, winning his primary, no problem at all, promising to become the first Maryland senator in 4 decades by running right down the middle.
Great job. Thank you.
Hogan building momentum tonight with an overwhelming primary win.
You know that I have the courage to put people over politics and to put country over party.
And reminding Maryland voters he left office as governor with a 77% approval rating.
And you know that I will stand up to the current president, the former president, to the Democratic Party or the Republican Party.
During the primary campaign, he quipped that aiming for the Senate was like running toward a burning building.
Do you still feel like you're running towards a house fire?
Well, it seems like a lot of people are running in the opposite direction, and a lot of good people are leaving the Congress, and I just thought it was important for good people to step up, because if we don't, we're going to be stuck with the bad results.
Supporters echoing the message.
I think he's the right guy because he's a balance right now to an all-Democrat Maryland.
I think that he will talk and listen on both sides of the fence, and that's something that we need.
You're either with Trump or you're against him. Is that going to hurt him with the core Republican voters in Maryland that need to come out for him?
I don't think it's going to hurt him in Maryland.
Back to the big question of money tonight. A lot of observers asking, will the Republican National Committee throw national money into this race in Maryland on behalf of Larry Hogan because of what's at stake, potentially the control of the Senate? You got to remember the RNC is firmly in the hands of Trump allies, including Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, and Hogan has called Trump dangerous for America. So it's an open question whether the RNC is going to support him and supply the money it's going to take to run against Angela Alsobrooks. Larry Hogan's people say they expect the RNC will help. Reporting live in Annapolis, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.
Yeah, we'll find out soon if there's an appetite for a politician who knows how to reach across the aisle. Scott, thank you.
We're also keeping a close eye on the congressional race in Maryland's 3rd District. 30 minutes ago, the AP projected State Senator Sarah Elfreth will win. She was running against several other candidates, including Harry Dunn. He is a former Capitol Police officer who was there on January 6th. Alexis Wainwright is at his watch party in Ellicott City. Alexis, Harry just spoke to the crowd there. What did he say?
Yeah, the mood has changed in this room, but I can tell you that he is expressing gratitude, also saying he's just blessed to have the opportunity to run for Maryland's 3rd District. I want to show you what we're seeing right now here in the room. You see him talking to some of his supporters, taking time to hug people one-on-one and really thank them for all of their support. But let's talk about how he got here. The former Capitol Police officer was on duty during the January 6th riots, and he took the nation by storm with his emotional testimony delivered during congressional hearings about the attack. Dunn gained so much notoriety for battling the riots on January 6th and writing a bestseller about it, even calling himself a defender of democracy. His campaign pillar has been his service defending the Capitol during January 6th and his willingness to do the same via policy. And tonight he echoed that, but he just didn't get enough votes to win. We did hear from him just 15 minutes ago, again, talking about how blessed he is. Take a listen to what he had to say.
It was a hard-fought campaign. I look forward to working to ensure that we defeat the Republican nominee in Congress. That's what's really important to me. I said from the jump that nobody in this primary was my opponent. The opponent are the people that believe and don't believe in democracy, that don't believe in the Constitution.
And again, you're getting another live look here at this watch party. Again, still good energy here. A lot of people just excited and proud of him taking this step to run despite win or lose. He says the biggest focus right now is making sure that the Democratic Party wins in November. He says he'll support Sarah as they move forward and make sure they do what they do or do what they can to make sure voters turn out and vote in favor of the Democrats. Live in Howard County, Alexis Wainwright, WUSA 9.
I suspect this will not be the last time we hear about Harry Dunn running for office at some point. All right, Alexis, thank you.
All right, let's get to Adam Longo now at the big board tonight. And Adam, you've been looking at county level data all night to get a better idea of who voted today and for whom.
Exactly, and money as well, Lorenzo. Holy cow, was there a lot of money spent in that 3rd district race between Harry Dunn and Sarah Elfreth, between the candidates and the PACs supporting the candidates. $10 million or so pumped into the District 3 race, which of course covers Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, parts of Carroll County, and Howard County as well. So in the county splits, you're going to see here that Sarah Elfreth led by the most in her home, Anne Arundel County, but she also led in Carroll and in Howard County, at Carroll and Howard County as well. Now, something else I want to show you here in some of the numbers that we've seen come in tonight on the presidential side. Of course, we know that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are going to be, they are the presumptive nominees of their party. But we wanted to see how many votes came in against them. So first we're going to look on the Democratic side here. Joe Biden obviously winning the state. Look, this just came over 10%. So already 15 states so far have voted uncommitted over 10%. We just cracked that threshold in Maryland. If this holds, Maryland would become the 16th state. Something very interesting happening on the Republican side. So Donald Trump obviously winning here. Nikki Haley at 20% of the vote. She hasn't had numbers like that since she was actually still in the race 2 months ago, March 5th on Super Tuesday. Couple of things I want to show you just here real quick to balance this out. So we're going to go to West Virginia here, and we are going to look at the Republican race in the Senate. That is been claimed by Jim Justice, the current governor right now and Trump-supported candidate, and then also the race for governor in West Virginia. That just declared about 20 minutes ago. Patrick Morrisey, the attorney general, defeating Moore Capito, the son of Shelley Moore Capito, current West Virginia senator. Guys?
All right, Adam, thank you. And of course, we'll have results at the bottom of your screen throughout this newscast. You can also find them right now on our website. Just go to WUSA9.com or download our free app. We'll be right back with a look at your website.